welcome back to another episode of Monster Hunter Try. This would be featured on, or seen on YouTube and Game Anyone. Now, we finally have our first big monster battle, and this is, just for all you know, the last couple times the commentary has been in during the time. Now this is being done in post. I'm just kind of showing off what kind of setups I am using. The current one that I'd have on would be the light bowgun, which I'm using the light bowgun. I would have been using the light bowgun barrel and the frame. And this one would be the heavy bowgun. Anyway, what I was showing there at the beginning, going to the weapon artisan, was that you can get the Ludroth stock already, which I will be using on the light bowgun. Now the heavy bowgun, you don't have that many options. You basically have to use all the heavy bowgun parts, which is alright, because they're actually fairly good. The heavy bowgun basically lets you have any type of status shot that you would want, along with some crag and some cluster, and plus the alloy armor, a lot of normal 2 shots. And now I am showing some, going to the whatchamacallit, the canteen. If you mix a meat and a drink, you get a an HP boost and an attack boost. I don't remember what I picked up there.
What?
Possibly some ammo. Oh, I picked up, I think... No, not by this point. I didn't have enough money by this point. Never mind. Some more cluster. Cluster's actually pretty good. We'll go over the weapon types when we actually get into the battle. Or the fight, or the hunt. The hunt probably is a better idea. So we gotta go fight, hunt a great Jaggy. I don't know how often for big fights the beginning segment will be sped up like this. It all depends. The fights seem to take a long time, so I wanted to cut out a little bit of it just to save people time. Now, I cannot read that, what the guild sweetheart is saying. I'm assuming all of you can. That's how you're kind of on the internet and whatnot. Probably can read. I hope you all like the, I'm trying out the technique to get it into widescreen. So hopefully this works out alright. The rest of the Monster Hunter thing after 2 bosses from now should be in 16:9. This is currently in a stretched version of 4:3 aspect ratio. So hopefully that will, it being in a 16:9 ratio will be a little bit better, of not quite as stretched as much. I think the Guild Sweetheart's just kind of giving us a little bit of tips on the Great Jaggy. Anything that she says I'm probably going to say in here, regardless if I actually read it or not. They actually give us some flaming shot. None of the bowguns you have at the moment really can use those, but the Great Jaggy is somewhat weak to it. We also picked up tinged meat there, which is not something for you to eat. It is something for the Great Jaggy to eat. When the Great Jaggy is exhausted, if you place that around the field, as you'll see when I enter in the place, you can place it on the ground, and a big monster that will eat the meat will go after it if it is fatigued or exhausted. This is me just kind of going over ammo types. So I think I'm going to start out with a round of Para, As you can see, I've been using basically a medium to a light bowgun for most of the time while I was just messing around before, and this would be the first time you get a heavy bowgun, and you can kind of see why I didn't use it. It may have more power, but your mobility is drastically decreased. Also, one of my rules is basically if you're going to have a folding gun, you should make it a heavy bowgun. I'll explain that in a second. As you saw there, the Great Jaggy kind of showed off that he can summon Jaggies when he needs to, which is one of the really kind of annoying abilities. Big monsters, which is technically what they're called. Most people call them, as I will probably call them, boss monster, because they're basically a boss monster as well. I guess technically the only boss monsters I'm air quoting right here are the Elder Dragons, which we will not see for a very long time. The Great Jaggy has... Oh wait, I was going to go into folding guns for bowguns. Folding guns, from my understanding, if the frame folds, it's going to be treated, regardless of its type or what the bowgun's final type is, regardless, it's going to be treated as a heavy bowgun for at least your mobility. At least that's what my understanding is. If somebody can correct that, that would be great. Because otherwise, my rule is basically, if you're going to make a folding gun, might as well make it a heavy bowgun. And that Jaggy just ran into my way, and it's gonna beat with it. Now, I will just have to explain two things. As you can see here, I'm using Crackshot with only one available load at a time. This is basically me messing around. There's no reason to be using Crackshot in this. I was going like, okay, I know I only have one, I can't make Crackshot yet, but I am going to try to knock this sucker out with Crackshots if I get the chance. And now I'm going to try to cluster shot him. Cluster shot! And I actually broke it there. I guess I'll cluster shot, or broke on his head. Cluster shot's basically, it'll do an initial kind of normal shot impact. And I completely missed there. And then it will release these small explosions that will rain down on top of whatever it is on the ground. Any explosion that goes to, like, say, a head area, wherever that may be for a monster, will contribute to knockout damage. It being on the body will contribute to KO or exhaust damage. The exhaust damage will be how much it'll before they get fatigued. Another reason why I say this is just me messing around. I really could do better on this, and I will do a lot better on the light bowgun. One, because it's a light bowgun. I got slightly interrupted here, but I'll keep continuing. Light bowgun. Yes. Another thing I had at heart, just to tell you this, people were saying, why are you doing the bowgun? You should do something else with like lower DPS or whatever. I've already gone into this conversation, I think. Because bowgun's not really a challenge run, when actually you think of it, it kind of is. There are not that many people that are gunners. It also kind of shows off this one thing that not many people use. Not many people use a bowgun. It's a simple fact for all the people that just don't want to believe that that are Monster Hunter people. A lot of people don't use the bowgun. Probably the most prominently used weapons are the lance, actually the lance isn't number one. Prominently used weapons are the longsword, which we haven't gotten into yet, the switch axe, which we haven't gotten into yet, and the lance. I'm not caring if I'm spoiling some weapon types, because you guys won't even get to see them for this until very late. Just kind of going over this, this is what an example of them eating. If they're fatigued, they'll eat the tinged meat, which will get them paralyzed. You make tinged meat by combining raw meat with some parashrooms. Let's see, I keep getting off track. I should explain, okay, every big monster has basically 2 stages that they can be in, or 3 stages. They can be normal, which is what usually they come in the beginning of the fight. They have fatigued, which they're a lot slower usually, or whatever, and sometimes they limp or whatever it may be. And then rage mode. Rage mode, when they go into rage mode, it clears up all their fatigue damage that they had, which is why you want to basically get KO damage if you're going to get exhaust damage on them. You can tell the Great Jaggy is in rage mode when you saw the puffs of smoke coming out of its mouth. That would be when it's in rage mode. And that little kind of spark thing when the explosion went off, that will be KO damage that's being applied to the head. One last thing we kind of go over with me and bowguns, I love pellet shot. You don't need to aim, you do a lot of damage, you can hit a bunch of different parts. It's very, very useful. Now going back to the challenge run type thing. This is somewhat more of a challenge run for me than anything, because, well, I do like the bowgun. It's not used very often. I've used it before. I am not a bowgunner. I probably will be after this run, but I am really not a bowgunner. I am basically a lancer and a ham-ham. So hammer is one of my favorite weapons. I find it has some of the coolest looking weapons, and lances are one of my other favorite weapons. Not as fun as the hammer, in my opinion. But yeah, this gun does have a shield, if you were wondering. So if like I blocked something and you're like, huh? The heavy bowgun barrel does come equipped with a shield, so that is very handy. You also see, whenever I use crag shots, I will take my time very, very carefully with the shots, because I have a very big problem with missing. That's something that is that useful. So almost every time I used a crag shot was to the head. Too bad it didn't actually knock him out. I think he went into rage mode too many times. He is in rage mode right now. The Great Jaggies tend to have a pattern that when they are in rage mode, they will do that side body hit a lot more. That would be him limping away. If we were going to capture him, which you would need a trap, which I had none at the moment, when he's limping away, that would be a time to capture him. And that Malinx stole something. And I'm going to load up my 11... Is that 11? It's 10, I think. Yeah, 10 shots for normal 1. And my 10 shots for normal 2. Yes, the heavy bowgun plus the alloy armor gives you a lot. Kind of go over why I got the alloy armor for the second one. The alloy armor gives you gives you critical eye, which gives you more affinity to your weapon. Now those that are new to Monster Hunter probably do not know what affinity is, but affinity is like critical hit chances, which you'll know when it does it when you see a red flash go off, which will, on some kind of shot, it's a lot easier to see on the pellet shots because each individual shot can have affinity, as you saw there if you looked very closely. It also gives you Trap Master, which we haven't used. I will use it next time, basically. And it gives you, stupid Jackie. It gives you, Trap Master. Normal all up. Normal S all up. Something like that. Which will give you +3 to all of your normal shots. Which is very, very good. I think in the next episode, I'll be going over how each ammo type that I have used so far operates, and any ones that I have picked up. So we will continue this on when we get back to the village. I am Zachary Chokum. Thank you all for watching. Check out Game Mode Anyone and YouTube. Subscribe to both if you like what you see. And always remember, have fun gaming. Oh, and we got a King's Frill. King's Frill is the very, very rare item that I wouldn't say very, very rare. Is the rare item that the Great Jaggy drops if you break his frill. I'll go over kind of how capture rewards and stuff like that go over in the next episode as well. Capture and break rewards, I'm sorry. So, I'll see you guys next time.